Yeah, I hosted along with my two co-producers and two of my best friends. I had this idea months ago, so I've been thinking about it for a very long time. We hosted the very first Hotex. It's a queer dance party here in the RGV. And this kind of came into my mind because I was out with some friends and we were looking for a place to party. We were looking for a bar, like somewhere to go dance. And I realized that we didn't have that many gay bars. And right now in the entire RGV, population of about 2 million people, we only have 2 gay bars that I know of. Yeah. There's one in Harlingen and there's one in McAllen, which is like an hour and a half away from each other. And yeah, I was like, that sucks. Like, I wish we had more spaces for ourselves. And a lot of it also came because when I was out with one of my friends, I wanted to go dance, and we would like dip into a place and like the music was really fun, and I was like, oh, this is super cool, and I would want to start dancing. And it's like the reality of the situation for a lot of queer people is that you can be putting yourself in physical danger just for like existing in a space.
Interesting.
And it's happened before. It still happens where people are put in danger. They're put in dangerous positions, and they're actually sometimes assaulted and they're hurt because they were just who they were. And so we would go into these places and we wanted to dance. And I was like, it sucks because like I want to be able to dance with my friend, and he's also a guy, but like we can't like do that without feeling some sense of like, you know, who's watching us, who's going to follow us when we leave. And so, you know, there are places, yes, where you can do that in like downtown or in certain bars. I don't want to discredit anybody, and I don't want to say that it just doesn't exist, but there are very few spaces that are built and organized with our community in mind.
Right.
And so, yeah. And so I wanted to do this party for that reason, but I didn't want to put that conversation on people that were attending.
Right.
So the party wasn't promoted in that way at all, because I just wanted to be a fun party. You know, I wanted people to come and get lit and dance and have fun and like be entertained. And it worked out. It was a success for the first one. And I was like, this is amazing. We did so well. This is just our first one. Can't wait for the next one. It's going to be in April. We haven't decided on the date exactly just yet. We have 2 dates in mind, but all of the details, we have them on our Facebook and our Instagram page at Hotex956.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, it was a super fun time. I was telling you earlier, I was in drag for the whole event. It was my first time being like in complete, like the whole gig in all drag. So like my feet hurt, my ribs are still a little bit bruised from the corset, but I looked amazing. It was super fun. And yeah, it's for everybody. It isn't just for the queer community, but it's definitely something that was built around the queer community. And so I want everyone to feel welcome. I want everyone to come out and have a fun time. And yeah, just that's all it is. It's just about having fun and like being comfortable.
We live in a very interesting time because everybody can do whatever the hell they want to do, but then they have to be worried about like exactly what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. Have you gone through those things here in the Valley? Or is it, let me rephrase it, is it a Valley thing that happens, or is it pretty much?
It's everywhere. Yeah, it's everywhere. And it's a little sad because there's places that can be very progressive, but it just, you know, there's always going to be that handful of people, or those few people. And yes, there are places that are just completely not accepting of the queer community. And like I said, there's places where the consensus is like generally progressive and like they're okay with the queer community and they're welcoming and embracing and accepting. But then you might have that one person that like just is still behind. Right. And, you know, it takes that one person to ruin a night or ruin an event. And I won't say that I haven't experienced anything physical, thank goodness. But like I remember one time I was walking with my friend, and he's one of my co-producers for this show. We were walking in downtown Wesco, and these guys in a big truck like just pulled up, and they were like, faggots, and they drove off. And I was like, yeah, what did I do? I think even now I'm like, my shorts were a little short, but like, why are you mad at that? Yeah. Like, so like, it's something that people have experienced here. I won't say that I've experienced it like in abundance, but I've had little instances here and there where I know that like, okay, I need to find a way to exit the situation before it does go that way.
Right. Yeah. It's a very smart thing, because you never know what the hell anybody's capable of.
Exactly.
Like anybody. Mm-hmm. Like I could walk out of my house right now and something to happen.
Yeah.
We live in a very strange time where it's like, I remember when I was growing up, I could play outside. kids can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Kind of sucks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's also maybe not that like you could do it at that time with no worry. I think maybe people are just more aware now of what the things that have always existed and the type of people that have always existed. You know, we're more aware that they're out there, and especially with like social media and the internet, it's very easy to learn about these people. And so I think that kind of puts the fear in people, and it's kind of a valid fear, you know, because there's
a lot of weirdos out there.
There's a lot of bad people out there, and you want to protect your kids, you want to protect yourself, and it's a good and a bad thing, because a lot of us live in fear now. But like you have to pick and choose like how you want to go about your life, and yeah,
it's a very strange world we live in, because I'm like, well, I want my kids to grow up in this social media world where it's like judging you and then praising you and then judging you. It's like, you've seen it, like you can see people like actually have, I guess how do I word it? There's certain things that happen with social media that have never been there before. So like self-esteem, stuff like that. Have you experienced that on social media?
I personally haven't. I've seen it, but I've also got a little bit of a thicker skin. Like I've been out of the closet since I was like in junior. I think I was like 12 when I came out, and so at a very young age, I started this journey of like figuring out who I am and like getting comfortable. And in 2014, I was actually diagnosed with HIV. I tested positive for HIV. I received a diagnosis of AIDS. I was very sick.
Wow.
And so after that, I'm fine now. I'm very healthy now. I could probably eat better, but that's okay. After all of that, I decided that I wanted to be vocal about it, and I wanted to share my story. I wanted to like spread awareness, and I really wanted to deconstruct this stigma that is around people living with HIV, because people still think very backwards about us. And so I put myself out there. Like, I put myself on the internet. I came out about my status. I shared it with people, and I said, this is why I'm doing this. I started profiles on these gay dating apps, and I put my actual picture out there, and I was like, this is who I am. This is why I'm doing this. If you have any questions, please ask me, because I knew that I had a thicker skin, and I knew that like I could handle the dumb questions a little bit better. Even though there's supposed to be no dumb questions, there are some. In fact, there are some things that you shouldn't ask people. But I knew that I could handle that, because I was also very lucky to have the support system that I did in that time. And so it's experiences and moments like that have, I guess, prepared me and made me a little bit more tough to online criticism. Because like I've done a PSA with it's an organization called Greater Than AIDS. I did a PSA with them, and it was a national PSA. It was all over the internet. They had billboards. They had like the bus decals in bigger cities. Wow. And so I would go through the comments, because I was like, I want to see what people are saying. And there was comments where people like something like, I got sick. That's it. Like, that's the sentence. I got sick, period.
Wow.
People get sick. It happens. But for some reason, people felt that it was okay to tell me that I deserved it, that I asked for it, that I did things to put myself in that position, that it was my fault, that I should have led a better life, without knowing what happened to me, how it happened. Not that it's anybody's business, but people made those judgments. And I think that was one of the harder times that I've had on the internet. But I've kind of grown up on the internet. When I was in junior high, 6th grade, we got a computer for the first time. And so I think it can be very dangerous for younger people, yes, but also the fact that they're growing up on the internet and they're seeing all these things. I don't want to say it numbs them, but it might prepare them. It might, give them a little bit of a thicker skin, but it shouldn't have to be that way. It shouldn't have to be like, just get a thicker skin and deal with it. Right. People should just not be fucking mean for no reason. Like,
well, there's over 7 billion people, man. It's very hard to find the good ones in the bad.
Yeah, it is.
There's so many people. How did you deal with that then? Because that seems like obviously a very traumatic experience, but you seem fine. Or are you? I mean,
girl. No, I mean, like I said, I was very lucky to have the support system that I did. My friends were all behind me. My family was behind me 100%. And that's also part of the reason that I decided to go forward and share my story as wide as I did, or on that big of a scale, because when I told them, even without that in mind, I was like, I have this amazing support system. Like I'm so lucky, so lucky. And like I said earlier, sometimes it's just luck.
Yeah.
And I realize there are people that don't have this. You know, there are people that don't have friends or family that they can tell. There are people living with HIV that have been living with HIV for years that have not told a single soul because they know that there's the chance of getting a really, really, really negative response. I've heard stories of people, their family, like disowning them, kicking them out, of losing potential dates, of their friends not want to hang out with them because they're scared they're going to get it, even though it has to happen in very specific, intimate ways. Like, you know, it's a really big like educational issue. And
I think that's what it is. There's not enough education and information out there about it to educate people. It's the same thing with my job. It's like I'm trying to sell social media and I'm trying to educate people. I was like, I don't get it.
Yeah,
I'm assuming this is a lot harder, but
yeah, a little bit.
I'm trying to correlate.
It's definitely that people sometimes just don't want to, and that's kind of the biggest lesson that I've had to learn is that sometimes there are people that they just don't want to learn.
Yeah.
They just don't want to learn, and I'm not gonna waste my time convincing you that you should care about other people or that you should care about things that could potentially affect you and your loved ones if you don't want to hear it. If you're set in your ways.
Yeah, there's a lot of backward thought thinking people that are everywhere. It's like literally throw a stone and they're right there.
Yeah. I mean, but then again, like on the flip side, there are people that they're open and they're willing to learn and they want to learn and they may have asked something wrong or they may have grown up with certain perceptions but when they're open and receptive, you can tell the difference in those people.